best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Komi.
Yeah, Oti, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How do you do too, Komi?
I'm very fine. I'm very fine. So glad, so happy to reconnect with you and see your wonderful face again. It's been a while. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, true.
Hello.
Honestly, it's actually been a while and so much has been happening. Trust me. And it's
Yeah,
also
how are you
exciting
doing?
to also see you too.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
doing great.
just
I'm doing great, Komi. How do you do too, Komi?
very fine, very fine. Just doing all that I need to do. And I'm really glad to connect with you at this time. Okay, so thank you everybody that's
All
joining us.
right.
I know we've taken some time. We'd like you, Oti, just tell us what we'll be doing today and what we should expect, and then we'll go right into the day. So let's get to know what we are to expect today.
Okay, all right. So today is just about all right. So today is just going to be about leadership and, of course, values. Those are like the two topics we'd actually be talking about. And, of course, we know everything about Unmute Yourself is a flagship of what's happening at 360 Leadership Network, all about leadership, um, servant leadership, and how to also encourage and build communities of people that are also very passionate about leadership. So basically, today we'll just be talking about leadership as a whole, and then also highlight on core principle values that are necessary or relevant for leadership in general. Because of course we can't really talk about leadership because without talking about values. Because at the end of the day, one person who is doing something amazing in one ecosystem, if you move him to a different ecosystem, he's going to be able to replicate what he's doing in one ecosystem. Why? Because he has principles and values that are guiding him. So it's very difficult to separate leadership from key values, and that's what we're actually going to talk about today.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. And we are really ready. We are really ready tonight to just get started and get to know what values are and how we can apply those values into our lives. So, for those that are joining us, we'd like to know where you're joining us from and what are your expectations for this night. I can see somebody already. Sigalo Samuel. Thank you so much, Sigalo Samuel. We really appreciate. We'd like to know where you're joining us from and also what's your expectation for the session of tonight. We'll be talking about values and leadership, just as Otomo Peter has mentioned. And we'll just get started in a minute from now. So if you're joining us, tell us your name, where you're joining from, like and share the video so those in your circle as well can just follow us through on what we have for this evening. Okay, so Othi, let's just start on a very lighter note and just to get to know what leadership is. You are before we really go into what we have to talk about, at least you've also been in the leadership space. You've done a lot of stuff, and also you're a leader on different themes, if I can say it that way. So for you, what do you think leadership is? Because we're talking about leadership and values. I'll really be going into what values are and
Yeah.
how.
So actually, Komi, I think you're actually an expert in these things. So I
Yeah.
think you're actually you rather. So I think I'd actually go after you. So just what is leadership all about? What it does it mean to you? And I don't really think I'd have so much else to really say because I've actually followed your path of leadership. I've actually seen the things you've done. So just I would also want you to mostly talk about that. Maybe I could just chip in a thing or two. So I think it should be the other way around. Ask you. So Mr. Kobe, what leadership? What do you think leadership is all about? So I
Okay.
don't have
Thank you
so much
so
to
much.
say. Yeah.
I think you're playing some politics on my head right there, but let me let me submit to that for now. Okay. Thank you so much. I think for me, I think um, leadership, just like John Maxwell always said, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, right? And for me personally, on my journey of leadership, one thing that have really been very striking for me is responsibility, right? So I see leadership to be a journey of responsibility. You deciding to take responsibility for a vision, for your purpose, and also for a mission. I'm going to repeat that again. I see leadership as you having the ability to take responsibility. The key word there is responsibility for a vision that you have, your life's purpose, and also your assignment, right? Which is also your mission. So leadership, two things I've said, the two key words in leadership is influence and responsibility. Because you can't say you're a leader and you don't have influence, not at all. Because you're not called to lead animals or lead inanimate things, right? And in the world of humans, what gives you the ability to have to lead them actually comes from influence, right? So one of the key words in leadership is influence and also responsibility. You can't say you're a leader and you can't take responsibility. Then you're not a leader at all. You have to take responsibility. In fact, the responsibility is the promotion that makes you a leader. I'm going to take that again. Responsibility is the promotion. It's actually what promotes you to become a leader. The day you stand up to take responsibility, then you are being approved to be a leader. So the two key words that are very important in leadership are influence and responsibility. Right? Okay, so over to you, Peter. Now,
I think you said everything, and honestly, I don't have anything to add or anything to actually remove.
not at all.
But I think I'll
You
just
have to
stand with
say
the
something.
standpoint of responsibility. The standpoint of responsibility, what you were saying, most times when we talk about leadership, people keep thinking it's I said most times when we talk about leadership, I think people mostly think about positions, being like the president of an organization or a
Thank
lead or
you so
something,
much.
or like having followers, and that's what defines leadership to them. But he said something about responsibility, which is like the standpoint I would just draw some inferences from. The fact that purpose and then we've been given something. There's something that Jesus Christ said in the scripture. He said that there's nothing that any man has that he was not given. So
Very
the fact that you've been given something, you've been given responsibility. And once you've been given something, that means leadership is also necessary because leadership also determines the decisions that you need to make. Like just multiply them, just like in the parable of the talent. The master did not tell them anything, did not give them any instruction. Most times as a leader, you'll be in place where you'll be confused, you won't know what to do, but you need to just take responsibility and make insightful decisions per time. So from deciding, one decided that I need to bury this one talent, another one decided I need to invest it. So it's all about decisions at the end of the day, taking responsibility. So that's just spot 100%, 100%.
Thank you so much.
So I think this is mostly a discussion.
Yeah.
What really took you into the leadership space? Like, because I remember back then at some point you were mostly into I know you did personal development, which you still do. You there were just a lot of things that you were really doing, but when did it occur to you like this is really where I'm called to be? Like leadership. Where what was that like eureka moment where you're like, aha, this is the spot? What was it for you?
Okay, thank you so much. That's a question. I get a lot of those questions. That question, and also another question I also get that is always very recurrent in my life is, when did you unmute yourself? These are two questions I get a lot. When did you get into the leadership space, and when did you unmute yourself? These are the two questions because of the book I wrote called Unmute Yourself. Okay, so when I got into the leadership space, I think one of the things that really drove me into that space was what was happening. It started out during my undergraduate, and I saw there were a lot of ills in the student union as at that time. There were a lot of things not really going well, and I was truly pained in my heart. And I can remember at that time there was also an embezzlement that happened. Someone embezzled funds also in the student union, and I was a bit very close to the student union at that time, and there was someone embezzled funds, and the issue was just all over the place. And I got really pained in my heart how that these guys were not really trained in leadership before they got into that space, right? And even before then, I've actually had this nudge towards leadership, towards training people to be responsible, to be responsive in the society, to take responsibility for their actions and their inactions. And I think, just like you mentioned, one of the very eureka moments for me was when I had a privilege to attend one of the conferences organized by Felad Rotorio. I think you were there with me as well, Otomo. I think we lost Oti from the stream. So it was when I attended one of those conferences that I truly had. Are you back? Can you hear me?
Hello, Komi.
Can you hear me? Wow. So
Yeah, I mean, hearing you all along is just like my Wi-Fi. I don't know. I like it just keeps breaking. So I wanted to be sure what's happening. I wanted to know if it's from my end or from your end.
But are you back now? Are we in sync now? Can you hear me? Are we together now?
Break.
I guess you're having
the video, the audio just breaks at some point.
Okay. I think let me just go on speaking. Okay, so there was a conference by Felad Rotorio. I'm sure you attended as well. So it was in that moment I heard him speak, and I could feel a great connection between myself and him, and I was just so soaked up in that moment. And I just tapped myself and said, guys, this is exactly what God wants you to do. And I found myself just deciding to be a part of that movement, just giving myself to be helping people become responsible leaders in the society. It's been a long journey for me. Time will really need to break down everything that happened in that space. But this is actually what happened and spurred the person that I became today, or the person that I am today, right? So that is really what brought me into the space of leadership. Just helping people take responsibility for their actions, inactions, just helping people become the best of what they could and what they can be. Sorry, we lost Peter. I'm still trying to see how I can connect him up. As soon as I can do that, he will come up and take it up from where he stopped. Okay, thank you everybody that is joining. I can see your comments, I can see your shares, I can see your feedback. I'm really grateful. Really grateful. Thank you so much. God bless you so much. Okay, so today we really want to talk about values. We've talked about leadership, what leadership is, and we really want to look at values. What are values and why are they important on the journey of leadership? Right? So many persons know what values are, and when we mention values, some people misinterpret values also for value. Yes, we have value and we have values, right? Peter, can you hear me?
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. I've been hearing you all along. It's just I've been
Oh,
trying to fix my Wi-Fi
oh,
device.
thank you. Thank you, Eddie Barry. I can see you, Eddie Barry. She's a lawyer, I think, in the Netherlands as well.
Edebari, Bao.
She's doing amazing
I think we have
stuff.
an amazing. We had an amazing session last year. Yeah.
Exactly. And she also works with the United Nations, and is so glad to have you on, Eddie. Thank you for commenting. So we have value and we have values. Peter, what's the difference between value and values? Do you know the difference between value and values? I don't know if you can hear me.
So I think if I yeah I can
Okay.
actually hear you. I
Okay.
can actually hear you.
Go
So
ahead.
you're saying the difference between value and then values. So I say and
Yeah.
value of course is actually a worth. Worth
Okay. Oh,
valuable. Value is just worth that's actually attached to something. Then values in itself is also very similar to like value, but it's mostly from the standpoint of principles. They are mostly intangible. There are things you can't see, things you can't feel, but of course their impact and their effects are actually felt. So values are actually things that most they are a standard on which a person's life, a structure, a philosophy, a belief system is built upon. So that's what values actually are. But value as the word is a worth you place on something. It could be intangible, it could be tangible. Like I value you, I value my phone, I value my device, I value my books, stuff like that. But values in itself are intangible, and they're actually like the core that sustains most of the principles that we actually strongly hold on to. So I think at the core of every philosophy, every belief system, every movement, at the core of it, the those ecosystems can be termed as values. So it's very important even for leadership too. So I think for me that's like the
thank you.
difference I can actually think about between
Thank you
both.
so much. Thank you. I think you said it all. You said it all. That's actually what values are or what value is. So that's the difference. Value is your worth, right? The worth, your self-worth, what you want, or what the total, like you say, if they are
Hello,
to
Komi, can
place
you hear
a
me?
price. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Right?
Looks like
So
we're
if you are
just
to
breaking.
place a price tag on you, that's what your value is, right? Then values are actually the principle, guiding principle, core values, your principles that surrounds you, that helps you to operate on your everyday life, right? And I wrote some few things down that I would like to share as well, just as we move on. I said values are things that you cannot break. Are there things you cannot break in your life? Things you hold so dearly to your heart that no matter what happens, you can't break them. Those are your values. And I say values are things you value and respect. I'm going to take that again. Values are things you value and you respect, right? Just as you get the definition of what value is. So things you can place a price tag on, right? So values are things you actually value and you respect. And they are also things you cannot do, right? So values in a way are things you cannot do. And also values are things you must do. So there are some things you cannot do that when people know you, they know, as far as Otobong is concerned, he cannot do this. As far as Edibar is concerned, as far as Precious Opasa is concerned, she cannot do these things, right? So values are actually things that people know you for, or you know for yourself that you cannot do. And also values are things that you can do. You know that these are the things you can do. These are things you must do, right? So these are what values are. And I also wrote something down that I think is necessary to share, because values are also what we call core values. They are also called your core values, things that are at the very center of your being. I don't know if you can hear me, but these are things that are at the very center of your being. We talk about core values, the way we have bone marrow, marrow in your bone that actually makes your bone alive and fresh, right? That's the same way you have values inside of you. These are things that keeps you alive, the things that keeps you running, the things that builds up your personality, the person you are is actually predicated on your values, right? So the perception people have about
Komi, I don't know if it's your network or it's my network, but it's breaking. I don't really know.
Are you serious? Please, if you can hear us, can we
Just
see
like
it in
I just
the
stopped
comment
hearing you
section?
for a while.
Wow, that's serious. If you can hear us, can I see it in the comment section, please? Let me see if I can reduce this music.
I just wanted to know if it's breaking because at some point I just stopped hearing you. So I just wanted to be sure
Oh.
that it's actually stable. All right.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, I think it's connected now. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can actually hear you, but like it just breaks at some point, just pauses and then it comes back. It's not
Oh,
very,
sorry.
the flow is not
Sorry.
very continuous.
Actually, sorry about that. I think someone is giving us a comment. Okay, he said, I can hear you all. Someone said they can hear us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hakoride. Okay, so
Okay.
I was saying that your values or your core values are actually at the center of your being. These are the things that binds you together. These are the things that determine what you do and what you don't do. So as a leader, it is very important that you have values, because without values, you are actually wasting your time. And it is said that it is almost a very common saying that grace and charisma can take you far in life, but what keeps you there, what sustains you there, is your character, the strength of your character. And the strength of your character is actually your values. I don't know if you can hear me. I think is maybe you're having some network glitch, right? So the strength of your character is actually the values. Your values are what determines the strength of your character. Thank you, brother, for Tambari, for saying you can hear us. So I said they are actually a description of your character, and they are what defines the way you behave. So values also defines the way you behave, right? It's the strength of your character, and it determines and also defines. Thank you so much for those commenting. I can see your comments. It's actually what defines the way you behave, the way you live your life, and also the things that you do. And they hold so strong no matter what. So no matter the situation you find yourself, your values remains the same, right? No matter what, no matter where you are, if you leave Nigeria to the US, your values remain the same. It's actually who you are and it actually determines what you also become. And I said your values are more needed and tested in the times of stress and temptation. So what really determines that this was your value is in times of stress and temptation, right? Because it is normally said that you won't say someone is not a criminal or a thief until they have the opportunity to steal and they don't steal, right? You won't actually know who is a criminal or a thief until you find them in that situation to steal and they don't steal. So
Until they're
your
tested.
values will
Yeah, true.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So your values will actually be tested in the times of stress and temptation. So when you find yourself in a very tight corner, what we call a tight corner, and you are still able to maintain your values, then they are actually values. Then they are actually things you hold at high esteem. For example, somebody in the Bible, Joseph, as we all know, at the very point that he was tested, he was able to hold on to his value, the value of integrity. He said, this is who I am. I'm not another person in Israel and another person in Egypt. So this is who I am. I hold on to this value, and that is who I am. And that's what we know. We all know Joseph for today, his values, right? So values are actually tested and really, really hold strong in the times of stress and temptation. I'm really going to share with us how we can build values, right? How can I really build values? Because some persons might be asking that question. And what is the importance? Why is it necessary for me to have values? For me to have values that I hold at high extent, right? Wow, I think the network is really bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Okay,
hear you,
thank
but
you.
it just breaks and then I stop hearing you at some point.
Oh,
You
thank you,
continue.
thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so also I want you to know that your values announces to the world even before you speak. Your values have already announced to the world around you the things that you will accept and the things you will not accept. I'm going to say that again. Your values announce to the world what you can accept or what you can take and what you cannot accept. Wow, I think network is really so that is why it is very important for you to have values as a leader, as a young person. Wherever you find yourself, you need to have values that you hold at high extent. Peter, can you hear me? I'm seeing your
I hear
message.
you at some point and then I stop hearing you. I hear you at some point and then I stop hearing you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's from me. I don't really know.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So just to continue on that as well, your values also stands as your internal operating system, or what we call your iOS, your internal operating system. You know, every computer has an internal operating system, right? And what that internal operating system does is that it is actually what controls the whole activity of what you see on the screen of the computer. You may not be able to see the internal operating system, you may not be able to touch the software in the system, but what you see displayed on the screen are actually orchestrated by the internal operating system. So everything we see physically about you as a leader or as a young person is actually an inner workings of your values, right? Everything we see physically about you, whatever it is you depict, whatever character, attitude you put out there, is actually born out of your inner values. One of the values, the values you hold, right? So that is, oh, wow. What's happening here? Okay, sorry. I think we are really having some network issues, but I don't think that should stop us. So we'll just go ahead. So I was talking about your internal operating system, that values actually determines what what you show out to the world, the person you become, the person we see you to be, and the perception we have about you is actually a sum total of the values you've built over the years. And it is very important that every leader has have values, you build values that you cannot break and that you must do. So there's something I want us to know, which I wrote out here that I'm just going to read out for us. I said, your values defined what you stand for. I wish I could share my screen, but I don't think this software allows that. That's why I'm reading it out. I said, your value determines what you stand for, and what you stand for becomes your culture. I'm going to say that again. Your values determines what you stand for, and what you stand for becomes your culture, and your culture are your standard, right? Your culture are your standard, and your standard are the set of things that anything below it is unacceptable. I think I should repeat that again. If you heard what I said, you can put it in the comment section. If you heard what I said, you can put it in the comment section. Thank you, Pera. If you heard what I said, you can put it in the comment section. I said your values determines what you stand for, and what you stand for becomes your culture, and your culture are the standard you set, that anything below that standard is unacceptable. So we can see to the extent at which your values stand for you as a leader, because it goes as far as determining what is your culture. And what is culture? Culture is the way of life of a particular people, like your normal everyday life. So your values affect your normal everyday life as a leader. And that is why it is necessary that you build the right values. Some people have values already that they've built, but it's not the right values. It's not the right values. So there are some persons that their issue is not that they don't have values, but the values that they have are actually not the right value that could sustain them into becoming the best versions of themselves. And that is why this is necessary for us to learn today. So I said the quality of great leaders reflects by the standards that they set for themselves. What are the standards you have set for yourself? I want to ask you, everybody on this call, if you can put it in the comment section, I would like to know what are some of the standards that you've set for yourself as a young leader. What are some of the standards that you have set for yourself? Oti, let's hear from you. What can you mention one of the standards that you've set for yourself as a young leader? What is one of the standards that you've set for yourself that has kept you to become the person you are today? Can you share with us? If you can hear me. Yes.
And also, Komi, I don't know if you can remember something. There's actually something you talked about
Okay.
some years back, more like a research you were doing on the lessons from the ancient arrow, something like that. The
Oh,
V's from the ancient
yes.
arrow, and then one of it was
Exactly. Very true.
leadership. There was the way you actually coined and actually phrased the entire statement. I don't know if you can actually just a bit, just also talk a
That
bit about that too.
that that's a lesson for another day. That's a full lesson on itself, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. So
that
I
would be
think one of
a
the V's
lesson for
was
another day.
values.
Exactly. Yes. Values is one of them. Values is one of them.
So like
So I was actually
a life
asking
without
you, what is
value is
one of the
like pulling
standards
an
that
arrow
you've
without a head.
wow, this is serious. I think the network is really very bad today from your side. Okay,
Okay,
so I
you
was
say
actually
one
asking
of
you
the
what is
standards I've set for myself.
exactly.
I think it's from my Wi-Fi.
Can you share that with
For me, I think
us?
the biggest one would just be integrity. For me, it will be integrity. I think
Mm,
it's like the biggest thing. Really having
mm,
your principles and being able to stand by it, both in secret and in private. Actually, it has really, really helped me in so many ways. Even when you're also doing business with people, because most businesses and every transaction you would always do with people, most time will revolve around trust. And one of the key things or components of trust is actually integrity. If people can't trust you or people are not sure of how you behave in different situations, then they cannot really vouch for you. So I think integrity actually goes a long way. Integrity goes a long way. It's something I think of all values, integrity is actually very core, very, very key for any leader. Because
thank you.
you there would
I
be
think
times
that's
when people would speak about you in rooms where you're not present. And
very
it'd be
true.
quite pathetic that in those kind of rooms they are not able, they are unsure of who they are vouching for. So integrity
Mm,
means those people being sure that in the sun, in the rain, this person is always going to be this way, that you are not a chameleon. Once you become a chameleon, then you're not really a person of integrity.
exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much. Integrity, just like you said, I think is also one of the number one values. Is what makes you stay the same despite whatever it is you find yourself in. Integrity is what makes you pick up a bottle of Coca-Cola and just drink without testing. I've not seen anybody that buys a bottle of Coke, opens it, and have to test first before drinking, right? The moment you buy a bottle of Coke, you pull up the cover, you just pour it into your mouth because of integrity. They've shown to be the same over the years, right? So it has a way of building trust in you that you are able to that you're just able to trust the brand because they've stayed the same for a very
Exactly.
very lengthy time, right? And also the word holy has a there's one of the meaning of the word holy that means same. That means God is the same. He's the same yesterday, today, and
Yes,
forever. That's why we trust him as well,
exactly.
because of his ability to stay the same. Imagine if God always changes his mind every time. We
Exactly.
can't trust him, right? But we trust him because his mind and his
Morphs into
decision, his
different forms,
person,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, is always the same at all times. Okay, so let's go back to value. So one of the greatest
Yeah.
turmoils in keeping values to yourself is
And,
when you hold
and I think
values.
it's actually a very key character and leadership that is missing currently. I
Mm,
think of all values, that's one of the biggest that's missing. That's one of the biggest that's missing out there. Most
yeah, thank you.
organizations, most big companies would actually want to entrust their companies into the hands of young people, but most of them are unsure
Very true.
about the level of integrity of these young people.
Very true. Very true. Because there are a lot of people that works with mood swings. You are another person today. The moment your mood changes, you're someone else, right? So we can't trust you. We can't trust you. You need to have the ability to remain the same in all weathers at all times, despite what is thrown at you, right? So your ability to stay the same is actually one of the greatest characters and the characteristics of a leader, right? Yeah. So I was saying something before we did cut out that one of the greatest turmoils you can have as a leader is holding values that those around you do not see as important, right? When you hold values that people around you do not see the importance of that value, then it can frustrate you. It can literally frustrate you. For example, a boss in an office that values coming early, coming on time to work, and then his subordinates do not even see that to be anything at all, right? That can cause a very serious issue in that company because he values the ability and you being able to come on time, but the people he's working with does not even see that to be anything serious. So that can really cause a big issue in an organization. So that is why it is important that you share the values that you hold at high esteem to people around you, especially those around you. You need to be able to share your values to them. The same way you share your vision to people around you, that's the same way you should share your values to those around you as well. So they hold at high esteem. And when everybody in a close space
Yeah.
have values that they cherish and hold together, I tell you, nothing can stop that group. Nothing can stop them. So it is
Yeah.
necessary you share your values with
Yeah.
people around you. Also in relationships, right? Imagine you're in a relationship with a girl or with a boy, and both of you don't share the same values together. There's no way you can survive together. You can't. That relationship will not last, because one of the things
Yeah.
that bounds relationships together are values. When both of you share common values together, then that relationship can thrive. And that's also one of the reasons why they said marry your friend, because when you have a friend, you already know the values of this person. What are the things this person like? What are the things this person do not like? And you always tend to obey and stay in the confines of the values that both of
Yeah.
you share together.
Yeah.
So values are really very important for every leader, be it
You also said something, Komi, that is actually key.
okay.
Um, yeah, you mentioned something about like a leader who's saying, everybody should be coming early but comes late.
Mm,
About values, you said something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So there's a verse in scripture that actually reminds me of something. It says, "All that Jesus began, both to do and to teach." So you
And
have
to
to first
teach.
of all do before you can begin to teach. You have to first of all become before you can make others become.
Mm, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's
All that
that's
began both to do and to teach. He didn't teach before he started doing. He became before he could make others become.
that's
So
true.
he said something that just reminded me of that. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much. So so now let's just look, because we are almost going in front of time. So now let's look at why is it necessary for great leaders to have values. Why is it necessary that you should have values as a leader? Before I start on what I have here, let me ask you, Peter, why is it necessary for a leader to have values? What do you think is one of the reasons why a leader should have
It is necessary
values?
for yeah, so I think it's necessary for leaders to have value because at the end of the day, it is one of the core things that is going to define the kind of people you attract to follow your movement. So let's say you are a leader and this is what you believe in. Ideology is actually what defines movements and what people believe in at the end of the day. So, and at the core of all those ideologies are values. So, at the end of the day, your values will always attract its kind. So it's also very important that leaders define those values so that you don't create a mixed audience at the end of the day. So if you have an idea of what you want the people, actually very, very important. So it is key that leaders in the beginning actually define their values, because it's going to be the template that's going to define the kind of people they are going to attract. It's going to be the template that's going to define how long their belief systems can start. And I can compare two leaders, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Malcolm X believed in, they give you, you give them back. They fight you, you
Violence.
fight them back. They do this, yes, violence, you have to give it to them hot. But Martin Luther King came from the standpoint of peace. He took
Peace.
on the ideology, he took on the value system of Jesus' leadership. And that's what defined his movement. So if we want to fight with them, we just stay on our own. We boycott. We don't do this. We don't do this. He used peace as a tool to fight war. So at the end of the day, that movement became even more powerful than war. Like, he showed us that in order for you to fight hate, you actually need love. In order for you to fight darkness, you need light. You don't use darkness to fight darkness. So he understood those values, and that value is actually part of what made the Martin Luther King's movement to become very successful. Them at the core, what made their movement stand the test of time was actually values. So I think that's why it's very, very important. And I'd also want to really know more also from you what you'd have to also say about that too.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You really mentioned things that are very, very key. That also what I have on my list to talk about, and I think one of the reasons why it's necessary for a leader to have values is that when you have values and you have your values defined, it actually makes decision making very, very possible, and it makes it easier. Yeah, it makes decision making easy. So when you have your values, you know this is my limit, this is where I can't go. There are some areas that are
because
no
it acts like a filter.
Thank you so much. It becomes a filter, it becomes a boundary, it becomes a line around you. It's just like a wall around you, a wall of fire or whatever it is, that you know that this is where I can't go and this is where I must go, right? So you find out that a lot of reasons why people find it difficult to make decisions, people become indecisive, is because they don't really have values. They don't really have things that they hold at high esteem. They don't really have things that are defined, or let's say clear values. They don't have clear values for themselves, right? Just like you mentioned Martin Luther King, the reasons why he decided to make his own movement to be of peaceful movement, was because he had values. He was a Christian and he respected Christ, right? And he respected the preaching of peace that Christ brought on earth. So that was one of the reasons why it was very clear for him and very easy for him to decide that, look, my movement and the course I want to chart must be a peaceful movement, right? So when you have your values and you have defined values, you have set values and they are very clear to you, making decisions become very fast, very fast. You can make decisions on the go. You know exactly what you want. You make the right decisions and you are able to stand by them. So values makes decision-making process very, very easy. And if you don't have values, it makes decision-making process very, very stressful for you and not easy for you to make good decisions. And I also said that values boost your self-confidence. I'm going to say that again because it's very important. Values boost your self-confidence. When you have values that you hold at high esteem, it actually boosts your self-confidence. You know that you are not swayed by, if I want to use in Bible terms, you are not swayed by any wave of doctrines around you, right? That whatever people are doing around you, you are in your own space. You know that this is my space. Whenever it comes to me, I know what I want. I know what I will stand for. I know what my response will be to these people, right? So you have this self-worth. You have this self-confidence. You have this feeling of you knowing what your limits are. You know what your standard is. You know where you shouldn't go and what you shouldn't touch, right? So values have a way of boosting your self-confidence, your self-worth. And that is why it's necessary that everybody should have values. You should build values for yourself. And at the end of this lesson, I'm just going to show you some values that every leader should have. And also, I'm going to give you the chance for you to build your own values for yourself. Have a list of values that are things that you can't touch and you can't break. Okay, I said values help us to understand ourselves better, right? It helps you to set goals that can help you achieve your dreams. I'm going to say that again. Values help you. Thank you, Barango. Values boost your self-confidence. Thank you. Values help you understand yourself better. So you just know yourself. Like, I know myself, right? So because you have values that you set for yourself, you know yourself. That when people are saying, maybe one of the things you respect so much is that, or that are part of your values, just saying, is that you want to have quality sleep. You don't wake up early in the morning, right? I'm just saying this, for example. And then people are actually saying, or you want to set a goal that you know will require you to wake up very early in the morning. You already know that is something you shouldn't do, because one of the things you value so much is your morning sleep. It's one of your values. It's things I like sleeping so much in the morning. It's just part of me. It's something I can't break, like one of the sacred cows in my life, right? So it helps you set goals. You just know that you know yourself. You know, this is me. This is something I cannot do. I don't wake up that early. It's one of the values I have. I value my morning sleep. This is just an example I'm trying to cite. So it helps you know yourself better, and helps you also. And when you know yourself better, then you can set goals that will be valuable to yourself, right? It can help you set goals that will be valuable, goals that are not just outrageous, goals that you cannot achieve. Because the reasons why many people set goals they can't achieve is because they have values that they don't really, that is not really part of them. Right? They don't really understand themselves, rather. They don't really understand themselves because they've not really set values that have helped them to understand who they are. Right? So when you set goals that are in line with your values, then achieving those goals cannot be an issue. When you set goals that are in line with your values, then achieving those goals will not be an issue. And also, values have a way of just protecting your life. It protects you. It builds like a hedge around you, right? Values have a way of just building a hedge around you. You know where you should go, where you should not go. It just has a way of protecting you, right? So everybody needs to have values that you hold at high esteem. I would like you to share with me, for those that are watching, what are some of the values that you have built for yourself? What are the values you've built for yourself? Are there things you've built for yourself as values? I'd like you to share with us in the comment section. What are some of the values you have built for yourself? I would like to hear from you. If you can share with me, I will appreciate. What are the values you built for yourself? And if you're joining us, we'd like to know where you're joining us from, your name, where you're joining us from, and maybe what you've learned from tonight, or what are your expectations. So can you just drop it in the comment section? What are the values, some of the values you've built for yourself? What are the values, some of the values that you as an individual, you hold at high esteem, or some values you have for yourself? I would like you to share with us in the comment section while we take a short break. Just share with us, what are some of the values that you have built for yourself over the years?
Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice.
Okay, yeah, I'm back. Anybody? I'm still waiting for your comment. I said share with us some values, some things you hold at high esteem. Thank you for staying with us. Are there things you hold at high esteem? Are there things that have become values to you? Things you know you cannot break? Things that are go areas for you and places that are no go areas for you? Can you share with us some of your values? I would like you to drop in the comment section. I know by now you must have understood what values are. So I'll appreciate if you can tell us what your values are as we move on in what we just have to study tonight. Okay, we'll be closing in just a short while. I have maybe just 2 or 3 things to share with us before we close. So one other thing that values helps to do is that values also helps to make your life predictable. I'm going to say that again. Value has a way of making your life predictable, the outcomes of your life, because the kind of values you hold also determines where your life goes to. It determines the outcomes of your life, the things that comes out of your life. So if you're somebody that respects, that have respect as one of your values, then we actually know that your life will be full of respect and honor. And if you're someone that has integrity as one of your values, then we know that certainly you will rise to the top. Thank you, Pera. Pera says what some of our values are dependability and courage. Wow, that's a very strong one. Courage, I think courage, just like integrity, is one of the values that everybody needs to have. Everybody, you need to have courage as one of your values, one of the things you hold at high extent. Courage is very, very necessary that everybody has. Okay, so now I'm going to share with us, thank you, Pera. I'm going to share with us some values, some things that you should value, or some values that you should have that can help you to be sustainable as a leader. Number one, which we've said earlier, is integrity. Integrity is very, very, very key. Integrity, there is no 2 ways about it. You can't say you're a leader and you don't have integrity in your life. You can't go far. You cannot go far. You can't be trusted, because the basis of trust is integrity. Your ability to stay the same in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. And the same answer you gave to us yesterday is the same you will give tomorrow. So integrity is a key value for every leader to have. I want to ask you, are you a person of integrity? That's my question to you right now. Are you a person of integrity? Can you be trusted? And it starts from your friends, those around you, those that really, really know you. Do they know you as a person of integrity? Can you be trusted? Can I trust you? If you were to trust yourself, can you trust yourself? That's my question to you. So one of the first values that every leader or anybody that is attempting to be a good leader, a great leader in the society, in the world around, must have is integrity. The ability for you to stay sane despite the situation and the times you find yourself in. And just as Pera mentioned, one of the greatest okay, thank you. One of the greatest values also that we should hold as young leaders is courage. You have to be courageous. If you're waiting for people to motivate you all the times, you really can't go far as a young leader. And as a leader, you need to have the ability to be courageous, the ability to push yourself to do what you need to do at every point in time. It's not all the time you wait for people to push you, to tell you what to do, but you have the ability to wake up and say, guy, I need to do this. And you stay at it until you achieve what is needed to be achieved. So many people start a course and they can't push it to the end. They can't see it through. That shouldn't be your case. As a leader, you should have the ability to start a course and see it to the end. That is courage. That despite the waves and the shakings in the water, you stay the same, you push on. So one of the very great values every leader should have is what? Is courage. Thank you so much, Celestina. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. I'm grateful. And also one other I'm just going to say one more, and then maybe I'll stop there for today, which is also, we have creativity and we also have determination. Creativity and determination. One of your values, one of the things you should value also is creativity. And one of the values that I hold for myself is excellence. I value excellence so much. If it's not excellent, I don't do it. If it's not excellent, I don't do it. So every young leader should have the ability to be excellent. There should be that ability of you paying attention to details. That there are things, if things are not detailed, you don't put yourself in, right? So one of the very key values that every young leader should hold is what? Excellence, excellent, excellent, excellence. Because you have quite a very long way to go. I hope someone have learned something tonight. Thank you, Pera. I said, if you were to trust yourself, can you trust yourself? Very, very necessary. Thank you for sharing that. That is integrity, integrity, integrity. Can you trust yourself? Can you trust yourself? Can you trust yourself? Okay, so have you learned something tonight? If you've learned something, I would like you to just share what you've learned. Maybe just in one word, what have you learned? 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 Have you learned something? Because we all need to build values. We need to have values that we will stand by, and you cannot be a great leader without values. That's the truth about it. There is no way you can be a great leader in this world and in your society if you don't have values that you hold. So I want to challenge everybody on this call to build values for themselves. Build values for yourself. Excellence, creativity, integrity. Most on the top on the list is integrity. Things that you must hold, that you become the same. At any time we find you, you are the same. You are the same. So I just want to read some things I wrote here. I said, here are 6 tips to help you find your personal value. Somebody will be saying, how can I get values? How can I build values? How can I find my personal values as a young leader, as a person? Number 1 is to get to know yourself better by going on a journey of self-discovery. So you really need to know who you are, because for you to build values, you're not building values for someone else. You're building values for yourself, right? So you need to know who you are. Who am I? It is a very, very deep journey of self-discovery. What am I? Where am I really coming from? Where do I find myself at this time? What are the things that appeals to me, right? So you sit down and go on a deep journey of self-discovery. In my book, I really talked about self-discovery in my book, Unmute Yourself. So if you don't have it, maybe you can just go to www.komimarvin.com and get that book. It talks extensively on what self-discovery is, because it's on the strength of your self-discovery that you can really build values for yourself, right? So one of the very first thing that helps you to define your value for yourself and define who you are is self-discovery. Getting to know yourself better. Many people don't even know themselves. They don't really know who they are. They don't know who they are. So you need to know who you are. You need to discover yourself. What are my abilities? What am I really passionate about? What drives me? What wakes me up in the morning? These are some of the things you begin to discover on your journey of self-discovery. What is my purpose? Because everything circles around purpose. Value circles around purpose as well. So you need to know what your purpose is. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you capable of doing? Where are you going to? Then around this, you now build the values that are relevant to take you to your destination. Because the goal of your values at the end of it is that it takes you to your destination. It helps you achieve your life's purpose. So also identify the biggest priority in your life right now, right? So this is one of the things that helps you build quality values. Identify the biggest priority in your life now. What is really necessary in my life now? What do I really need to achieve now? Right? So if you're an undergraduate student, Your values, many of your values should circle around your studies, should circle around your academics, should circle around your educational life, right? So you build values that will help you do well in your studies. So you have to find out what is really necessary in my life now. You understand your biggest priority, and then you build values around it, because at different points of your life, there are values, there are things that becomes of priority to you. What was a priority for you 10 years ago may not be a top priority now. Maybe it have gone down the list, or maybe it have gone more higher or something, right? So your priority changes at different stages of your life. So you need to find out what is really necessary for me right now. What is at the top of my priority list right now? And then you build values that surrounds that. You build values that surrounds the present priority in your life right now. So I want you to ask yourself, what is necessary? What is very important to me now? It's one of the questions you need to ask yourself. And then you build values around them. And also, I said, reflect on times when you were the most at ease and your well-being was at its best. So these are the times that you can really build values for yourself, right? The times that you were at your best and your well-being was also at its best, when you were at ease. And I also said, create a personal vision statement for your future and look to identify the values within your statement. How many of you have a vision statement for your life? Have you sat down to write out the vision statement for your life, that this is the kind of life I want to live? This is where I'm seeing myself in the next 10 years. If you don't have that as a young leader, it's a very big mistake you're making. You should have a personal vision statement that you're looking at. This is where I should be the next 10 years. This is the vision of my life. This is the vision of my life. It is very important that you have a list that you call your personal vision statement as a young leader. So values are really, really very, very important. You can rewatch this video so you can really get the light of what we've said so far. So I really want to say thank you for joining and being with us all this while. I don't know if you've learned something. There must be something you have learned. A lot of people have shared what they learned. I see a lot in my comment section here from the beginning up to this time. I don't know if there's something, just one thing you've learned tonight. Can you just share? Maybe just drop it in the comment section that this is what I learned, this is what I learned, and I'm happy I learned this. Can I see that? If there's something you've learned that is very, very important and makes you happy, can I see you drop in the comment section? Thank you so much, everybody that has joined, and I hope you've learned something from this leadership and values. As a leader, you must have values that you hold at high esteem. You can't be an effective leader without values. You can't be an effective leader without values. You should have values, because the strength of your values determines how far you go in your journey of personal development, and also in your journey of leading yourself and bringing out the best in you and becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you so much for joining. I'm waiting for you to share with me what you've learned. I'll be happy if you can share it before the broadcast goes off. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. Thank you, Otobon Peter. He was having network issues, and that is why he got cut off. This was supposed to be a very interactive discussion with me and one of my closest ally, Otobon, but I think he's having network issues. So if there's something you've learned, I'd like you to drop in the comment section. I'll be very grateful to read out what you've learned, whatever it is, whatever it is. Thank you, Pera. Pera is our HRO at 360 Leadership Network. And she said she learned the importance of integrity for young leaders, as one doesn't lose anything by consistent integrity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pera. Integrity is key. It's key. The ability of you to stay the same at all times. The ability of you to stay the same. When I got the analogy of the Coca-Cola, how that we just pick up a bottle of Coca-Cola and we just drink. Nobody buys a bottle of Coke and you have to taste first before you drink. No, you just drink. That's the power of integrity. You've so trusted it that you know that it is the same. When even if you travel to the US, to America, wherever you go to, and you buy a bottle of Coke, you just open and drink. The moment you see the label there, right? Because you trust that brand, they built that trust in you over time. That's what integrity is. So every young leader should have integrity. That is what makes you to be trusted, and that what makes also for your elevation wherever you find yourself. Thank you so much, Pera, for sharing that. Is there anyone coming up again? Any other person sharing what they learned before we call it a day tonight? Okay, thank you so much. In the absence of anyone, I'm really grateful for you joining us tonight. Thank you for being a part of this broadcast. You could rewatch, just like the video. If you've not liked the video, share with your friends and just comment on what you've learned, and we'll be very grateful to hear from you. And unmute yourself continuous next month as well. We'll be having another amazing session. Trust me, it's really, really going to be amazing and you don't want to miss. So thank you for joining us this evening. And until next time, I'm really, really happy to host us as well. And just be with us on our journey of growth. Okay, so until next time, do have a good night rest. I can see a lot of people still on the stream. Thank you for being on the stream, and see you next time. And do have a good night rest, good morning rest, depending on where you are. We love you so much. Bye-bye.
Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Komi Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now.